friends, you're back with Homegrown Florida. I'm Katrina, and we are doing something that I told myself for at least a year now that I was not going to do, which is that I am going to put another bed in. I felt like I had plenty of beds. I have 8, and I put all these guys in. I didn't put them all in at the same time. I've kind of, I put 2 in, and then I put another 2 in, and then I put 4 in. And I had this extra one that I was like, you know what, 9 might be too much. So I didn't put it in, and I've gone all summer, all fall, all last spring with just my 8 beds, and I thought, oh, that's fine. It grows plenty of what I need for, our needs. But that has changed, and that has changed because I am addicted to plants. And I just keep growing more and more. And also, I like to give myself grace. I am focused a lot more on growing more fruits and growing more medicinal plants and a lot more different kinds of herbs that are unique. And so with that comes the need for another bed. And also, I know many of you were very interested to hear about how I fill my raised beds for very inexpensive. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how I put this bed together. Really, really simple. If you're interested in getting one of these, this is a galvanized steel 8 by 4 foot bed. I will put the description down below. I checked it the other day for the cost, and it was actually quite reasonable compared to when I bought them. They've come down in price, which is pretty cool. At the time that I checked them, and don't hold me to this depending on when you're watching this video, they were on sale for $59, which I thought was spectacular for beds like these. I already had one, so I didn't have to buy one. But here we are doing exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. The life of a gardener, I'm telling you. Okay, so let's put that aside. Let's just embrace the expansion of the garden. I'm cool with it. I'm excited about it. And I'm really excited to show you how I fill this thing for very, very, very cheaply. So I put the bed completely together, leaving just the center piece of the 8-foot side as the last step, because you do have to add these bars, and you add them when you add your screws. So we're going to do this together. We're going to line up those holes. Then I'm going to line up the little hook on the bar, and then I'm going to put my nut in place. And they give you 4, although there's 8 places here, but I like to do them kind of zigzag. So 1 up here, 1 there, 1 there, and then 1 there. And you'll notice I'm just lightly putting them on. I will screw everything down tighter once I got everything in place. So we've secured the center pieces here with the bars that hold all the dirt and the bed in. This is a very lightweight bed. It's nice because, I have a hard time lifting heavy things, and this is just easy to lift. So the last step we have is we are going to tighten up all the other bolts and nuts, because I only tightened up these center ones. So we're going to go ahead and do the rest. All right, so we got our bed completely made. Didn't take long, 15, 20 minutes tops, I think. If you weren't using a drill, which it doesn't require a drill, you could use a Phillips screwdriver. It probably would take a little bit longer, but I like the drill. It's fast. So, our first step in filling a bed is we are going to fill the bottom with as much cardboard as you can possibly find. Have your friends save it for you, your family members save it for you, save it yourself. Save it over weeks, months, whatever long it takes, but find you some cardboard, put it down. Amazon boxes are great for this because they are fully recyclable, including the tape. It's a special tape that is used. It's that black tape with the string in the side of it. That type of tape is recyclable, so it's okay to put that in the center. Otherwise, if you're using boxes not from Amazon, from someplace else, you'll want to pull the tape off. So this is all the cardboard I have. Now you could definitely do multiple layers. I think I did 2 layers here, but you could do 3, 4, 5. The sky's the limit. Get rid of all your cardboard. The next thing I'm going to do is I have some branches from my roselle plants that came down in November. So I have some of the dead branches from that. I'm going to put that in. I have some dead branches from my tree, and I also have a lot of dead branches from things that froze in Christmas. So I'm going to pile all that in here, barely broken down. Just toss it all in. As you can see, a lot of this stuff is like sticking up and out of the bed. So I'm going to do a little bit of pruning just to make sure it fits. So this next step, you can add all kinds of stuff. Normally, I save up a bunch of like my veggie scraps from kitchen or leaves and grass and things like that. And I do have some of that, so I'll put that in. But what I have a lot of is compost that is not completely broken down. I mean, not even a close to broken down. I swear, I just filled it up like a few weeks ago. So it is not ready to be used as a true compost. But by burying it underneath and then putting, you know, some wood chips and mulch and grass clippings and all kinds of stuff on top, I'll be housing all those nutrients where they can continue to compost underground. Now this is optional. I will say that some people do not agree with using unfinished compost in the garden because it does heat up, it does create like, you know, this process that it's going through where it's eating up nitrogen and it's eating up carbon and all these other things. But for me, I used to use just wood chips, and fill it all the way up and just do 2 or 3 inches of compost on the top. But it sunk a lot, and the first 2 years, the nutrients were really difficult. They were they leached really bad because of the wood chips eating up all the nitrogen. So I found, for me personally, you don't have to do this, but for me personally, I like to throw in those veggie scraps, the unfinished compost, whatever I have. So I'm going to put that in next. So the next thing I have is a bunch of potted plants where my roselles lived. They are dead now. They gave me great roselle cranberry sauce, but I have these pots full of dirt, and you really want to refresh dirt after it's been used, or use it as fill dirt, which is exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to dump this, roots and all. I never dug the plants out. The roots are still in there. So I'm just going to dump these in here too. So we're only about a quarter of the way there. Hopefully you might have more branches, you might have more pots, you might have more unfinished compost. Get it all in there. Whatever, if you just cut your grass, throw grass clippings in there. Whatever you have, get it in there. Now's the part that's a little more important in terms of what needs to be on the top part. So what I'm going to use is composted wood mulch. The reason I'm using this is because in my county and in the county where my mom lives, they have a composted mulch program. That means all of the tree trimmers from around that area drop their wood chips off at this place, and that place turns it regularly for like a year, and it creates compost from wood chips, which is really, really cool, and they give it away for free. I'll put the address and the phone number in this description and hopefully up on the screen right here, so that if you live in the area close to Newport Richey, that maybe you can make a stop down there. We usually take our pickup truck down there, and you can haul it yourself, or there's a phone number on a sign right next to where the piles are, and they will come over as long as they're not too busy. They will scoop a bunch for you and dump it in the back of your pickup truck. Then we just throw a tarp over the top of it and bring it home. Now, majority of what's left here is going to be filled with that, except for 4 to 5 inches. I'm doing good store-bought compost since I don't have enough. I'm using Black Cow, but you can use really anything. I mean, even if you don't have compost, if you wanted to use potting soil or raised bed mixes, there's some really good ones out there. Top that off with that. If you don't live near Newport Richey or your county doesn't have a composted mulch program, you can do chipdrop.com, and sign up to have the local arborist come by and dump chips for you. Then there's also the crazy way that I've done before, which is as you're driving through your neighborhoods or on your way to work or on your way shopping, if you see a tree trimming company and they have one of those chippers on the back of their trucks, stop by and ask them if they want to drop that off at your house, especially if it's nearby. A lot of the times they have to pay to drop that. And so a lot of them are more than willing to drop it at your house if it has not already been assigned to somebody else, like some other gardener that's asking for it. So let's get this one filled up. All right, so I put all of the composted mulch in, and then I took a break because that took a while. I've been at this for a couple hours now, and it's very taxing. So far, we are probably 3/4 of the way up. I was hoping that it would have filled the entire bed, but we're a little bit short. That's okay. We're gonna add some amendments now, and then I have a couple of Black Cow bags that I'm going to put on top. But first, the amendments. Because I know that the compost mulch is going to deplete the nitrogen some, I am going to take my time to put down a good amount of amendments. One of the amendments I'm going to use is mycorrhizin. You guys are probably going to think I'm crazy because this stuff is expensive. But to be honest, if you haven't seen my tomato video, definitely check that out. I'll leave it down in the description and then up here. This stuff, I saw absolutely no difference. I did a experiment with my tomatoes where I put them on some of the tomatoes and not on the others, and there was no difference. In fact, I think they didn't do as well as the other ones, although it was comparable. So I didn't really see a big improvement beyond regular fertilizer. So since I'm really not going to be using this to put on the roots of vegetables, I'm going to put this whole bag in the bed. The other thing I'm going to put down is my tomato tone. You can also use garden tone. Those are two of my favorite granular fertilizers, just to help with some of that nitrogen. I'm not going to be putting down blood meal and bone meal, which I normally do, because I'm just running a little short and I got to get rid of this stuff anyway. I probably will put down some kelp meal as well. Here's a kelp meal I'm going to use. This is a Neptune's Harvest kelp meal, and it really helps with potassium, which I tend to run low in my beds for some reason. So I'm not going to put the whole bag. Just going to now we're going to do the tomato tone. I don't really have a lot left in this bag, so I'm just going to put the rest of it in here. I really have to be careful with this stuff because my dogs absolutely love the smell of it. It's organic, and I know the ingredients in it aren't really going to harm them, but I prefer, or rather them not eat it. But they love to eat it, so we're going to try to keep them out of the bed until we put the dirt on, which is the next step. Our very last step is we're going to cover it with mulch. Now, it did not fill the bed completely. You can see a little bit of edge there, but that's okay. I'm going to not plant in this for probably a couple of weeks. It'll allow it to kind of sink into place. And anytime you fill a new bed, it is going to sink a little bit, especially in the beginning. So I'm going to wait to plant in it until after that sinking has completed. And then that way I can top the bed off with maybe 2 or 3 more bags of the black cow or something similar to that, and that should fill it all the way up. So there you have it. That is exactly how I fill every single one of my raised beds. Cardboard from my Amazon boxes, any kind of branches, old dirt, wood, logs. Then I'll add in veggie scraps, paper products, unfinished compost. Then I laid in a bunch of composted wood mulch. Then I laid down some amendments because all of that wood will eat up your nitrogen. Then I added 2 to 3 inches of a good compost. I like black cow. It's an easy one to buy, but it's expensive. So those 3 bags are about $4 or $5 a piece. Let's call it $5 a piece, so $15 for the 3 bags that I put on here. I'll probably need to add another 3 more, so altogether $30 on my compost. And then I put down leaf litter that I've been collecting from my yard this fall, and that's all my layers. So altogether, the bed itself is $59, so that's $60, and then $30 for the black cow, so $90 to fill the bed. Still can be a little expensive. If you can save on that if you build your own bed. Another way that you can save, instead of doing, $30 on black cow, is to make your own compost and put that as the finished layer on top. That works very well as well. So as you can see, it can be done. You can fill large space with a lot of the things that are just around your house. Everything that you saw in this video, I will put down into the description below, so that if you want to check it out or you want to take a look at those options, you can give it a shot. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.